Hi, so this first video we are going to be talking about the setup and how to make it as automatic as possible. I've got a few tips in here on how we grip the club, how we stand to it, and those are really important things. We don't want to be thinking about those things when we're on the golf course or on the driving range, tinkering around. We just want to be able to walk into the shot, set it up, we've got the grip there, we've got our posture, we're feeling the ground, and we pull the trigger. If you're walking into it thinking, is that how I hold it? Do I stand? Am I standing right? Suddenly you get frozen, you get stiff, and you don't let the swing flow. So the more stuff you can do off course, the better that's going to be for your golf game, the more automatic we can make it, and that's what this course is all about. So good luck with it, and I'll see you on the inside. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the grip. The most important part of the setup, because your grip controls what this thing does. So first of all, we want to make it as natural as possible. So if you're just stood upright and your arms are just hanging by your side, that's pretty much how we want the club to just fall into your hand. So just let it fall in there and then grip it in front of you. We don't want to be looking to see where it's gone, and we certainly don't want to be trying to wrap our hands around it. So we'll take a little closer look at this. And so placement of the club in the hand is very key. So we're looking, when you let your hand hang nice and loose, your fingers have a slight curl to them, and we're looking to place the club between the middle joint of your index finger across to the bottom joint of your little finger. As you can see, I've just drawn a couple of lines there. So when I bring the club in, I'm just going to place them across there and then close my hand around. Okay, we don't want to be stretching the thumb down. We definitely don't want to be coming underneath, because then we can't wrap the hand around enough. So let it hang loose, just slide the club in there and then close over gently. We're looking at this fleshy pad here to be sat right on top of the club. So if we were to push down on the butt end of the grip there, you can see that we get some wrist hinge. So that pushing down, allowing those wrists to hinge, creates the angle that we need for speed in the golf swing. So the left hand is now in position, so it's time to bring in the right hand. So much like with the left hand, we want that relaxed feeling of your hands hanging down. So the club is going to run in these joints here on these middle two fingers, and when we place it on there, it just literally just sits there, and then we close the hand. So we're looking to fit the thumb, this left thumb, into the lifeline here of your right palm. So it just sits over the top there, nice and gently. And you have the right index finger is going to act like a trigger finger, and the left thumb is gently closed over the opposite side of the club. So like so, when you look down at it, this was what it should look like. Now, with regards to fingers, how many fingers we have on the club, you've probably heard there's many different options. You've got the baseball style. So again, same thing. If you've got all four fingers in your club, you still have that thumb in your lifeline. You can either do that, you can do the overlapping, which majority of better players do, or the interlocking grip. So either of them work, but as long as your hands for all of those grips are in this same position, everything will be fine, allowing you to hinge your hands and create some pressure at impact. Okay, moving on to posture now. So again, this is all doable indoors. We need to get all these things set up right, so when we go out and play, we're not even thinking about them. So I've laid the club here on the ground. It's about a club width from the wall there, and this is what we're going to place our heels against, so don't have to stand on the club. So it's pretty much a rough guide, because what we're trying to do is get hips over the top of ankles when we're in posture. So we've got the wall here, so we're going to just tip ourselves forward and letting our arms hang. So you can do this without a club to start with. So we've just tipped forward, so my bum's just touching the wall. I'm nice and athletic, so I'm not too much bend there. I'm just tilted over, bum's just touching, arms hanging directly underneath my shoulders. So this is the position we're perfect posture position. If I bring club in now, so I've got my nice loose grip in good position, arms are just hanging loose, bum's on the floor, bum's on the wall, sorry. And there we go. Now we are in a perfect posture position, athletic, ready to go. I'm not too much on my toes, not too much on my heels. So it's one of the first things that can go wrong. If someone's out of whack, struggling, chances are they're going to maybe be too far away, bum's too far out here, arms are extended, so they're a bit reachy. This affects how we swing the club back. Alternatively, there's no hinge and they're stood so tall that you then have to move your arms away. Those two positions aren't particularly athletic, so they're going to cause a lot of problems in your golf swing. So let's get these things right. There's no excuse to get these absolutely spot on, especially as we're in off season. Let's get all your fundamentals right. If anyone comes to a lesson with me, first things I look at are your basics: grips, posture, ball position, stance, things like that, because most of those swing faults come from a poor setup. So get yourself down here, work on this. So what we can do, I'm going to use a little imaginary ball, rolled up piece of paper here. So when I'm in my nice setup position, get a club that you're familiar with. I'm going to use I've just got a 6-iron here. So we can actually think, right, okay, this is where I want the ball. Okay, lovely. Now I feel set. So I can now measure this position. So if I was to actually pop that on my toe line and grab another club, and I can go distance from ball to the shaft here, and you can wrap a bit of tape around there, mark it with a pen, something like that. So each time you come onto the course or to the range, you can actually set that position up. So rather, because you're not going to have a wall behind you because you can't swing. So 6 irons, obviously this is a wedge, so clearly if I'm in this position here, because the wedge is shorter, it's going to be in the wrong place. So practice with one club, get used to this feeling. So whether you're using any iron that you're using, the posture is going to feel the same. Drive is slightly different, we just create a bit more space because we're going at it a little bit harder. But for all your iron shots, anything off the floor that you need to make consistent contact with, let's get this posture absolutely spot on. Okay, so we are in position now. We've got our imaginary ball, we have our club on the ground, so we know this is perfect distance away from the ball. So let's practice now walking into it. So this is essentially your pre-shot routine. I'm not going to go into alignment too much, but this line here is going to be your target line, and your body alignment is where your club on the ground is. So we're trying to line up feet, knees, hips, shoulders, all parallel. So imagine train tracks. That's one side of the track where the ball is, and your feet and body lines are all on the other track. So we know this is the right position, so we've got to practice walking into it. So we take our grip. So whether you take your grip behind the ball, which I do, I actually grip behind the ball and walk in, or whether you want to come in from the side, either way. So we've got our hands in position now. So we're going to go place club behind the ball and then practice walking in. I'm constantly moving. If you watch any of the good golfers, they're always waggling, they're moving their feet around. And the reason for this is they're trying to get settled, because golf's not always played on a flat surface, as we know. So on the golf course, you've got loads of contours. So you need to practice jigging around, getting a feel for where you need. You might need to move ball position forward, backward, depending on the lie that you're facing. So get yourself down, keep moving, little waggles of the club, okay, and you'll find yourself gradually becoming settled, and that's when you're ready to pull the trigger, okay. So one thing to look out for when we are creating this posture to know whether you're in the right place or not, hopefully you've practiced against the wall. If not, a really good test, so I'm just going to back myself up away from this, just a few inches. So now if I right, club is now behind the ball. If I now just take my right hand off and just let it hang loose, when I come in, I'm nowhere near where it needs to be. And alternatively, if I'm stood over on top of the shaft, when I let my arm hang, it's by my thighs. So I'm going to have to manipulate my swing to get around that. This is why the posture is so important and the distance away from the ball. So that's that. And finally, how do we walk into the shot? Okay. Right, this is how I want you to do it. So we've gripped it. Club is going to go. And what we're going to do, we're going to place our right foot in first. All right, so we're looking down our target line. We're going to place the right foot just down there in line with the ball somewhere, just behind it, and hinge from the hips. Okay, we don't want to round over. We need to create this nice flat back, this spine angle. That's when you hinge from your hips, your bum goes backwards. So we can get club in and then you bring your feet in, and that's when you jig around. Okay, the reason we bring that right foot in and look, it's easy to look down the target. I see many times people just walk in sideways and they'll either come in left foot, right foot, or just generally sort of stood round somewhere, and it's quite hard to see over your shoulder. Whereas when you open your chest up to the target, you're looking straight down the line, then you bring your left foot in, and then you get your ball position. So have a play around with this. We're doing it at home. You don't need to worry about hitting a ball. These are things that you can really embed now and get them, so when you do get out there and play or go and practice, you've got these embedded in. There shouldn't be anything you're thinking about. It's literally automatic, grip, club, posture, fire.